Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. Today we're going to be talking about voter fraud, aka ballot fraud. Or are we? Actually, we're not. We're going to be talking about something very related, though, and that is ballot recount fraud. As I'm sure everybody knows, there is a recount going on right now in Georgia. The Trump campaign is asking for recounts, or will be asking for recounts, in several other states. The whole idea behind these recounts, obviously, is that the recounts will expose and remedy fraud. That if you have people looking at these ballots that were cast, seeing which ones are legal, which ones have matching signatures, that solves the problem. Well, that's what I thought. I'm sure all of you, or many or most of you, thought the same thing. But what happens if the recounters are engaging in fraud? What if the recounters are not being honest and there is nobody there to watch them? If there are no observers from the Democrats and the Republicans watching these recounts, then how do you know that they are honest? And you may be thinking, some of you, well, that couldn't happen. The recount will be honest. Well, if that's what you think, that's what I thought, that's what I assumed, watch this.
Project Veritas has insiders in the Georgia recount that are catching votes wrongly attributed to Biden. Check this out.
So the second person is supposed to be checking it, right? So three times in 3 minutes she called out Biden. The second auditor caught it, and she said, no, this is Trump.
I mean, it's not mandatory.
Now, that's just while I'm standing there. So does the second checker catch it every time? But this lady, in 3 times in 3 minutes, from 2:09 to 2:12, she got 3 wrong.
That's just in the short time that you were
that I was standing there. And does it get corrected every time? Because the next table I went to right after that, the only reason I left that table is because there was one where the first person is reading it off, handing it to her. She's not even looking at it, she's just putting it in.
Putting it in which set?
Whatever one the first person said. So table 17 was the first one where the woman got it wrong 3 times. Table 18 was where the first person would call out Biden or Trump. She passed it across the table. The other person did not even look at it and just put it wherever the first person said. That person is supposed to be auditing it, checking the second one. Gotcha. And so here's what happened after that. So I go and report it. They say, oh, we'll talk to the election officials, blah, 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 blah. They tell her, hey, I guess they talked to her. And so I come back by again in a few minutes. She's not doing it after they've talked to her. So I come and stand next to her and she goes like this. Like being all cutesy about it, being exaggerated.
Being snarky.
Yeah, so I keep walking, I turn around, I look, and she's looking at me walking away as she's getting handed more ballots. So she's watching me. That's when things start getting real shady, like really like tense and cop. Because no matter where I was standing in the room, her and a couple other people started, they were calling their boss over there, pointing at me. I haven't touched anybody, I haven't talked to anybody, haven't done anything. All I'm doing is writing down, observing, telling what happened. So I see that they're all talking to her, and they keep like pointing over here. Well, I make another slow lap around the room, and as I come back behind her, she says, I'm paid by the taxpayer, and these fucking assholes want to come in here and watch me.
3 times in 3 minutes is what is the significance of that to you?
If the other people aren't second checking it correctly, then stuff could be sliding through.
Is that actually what you saw?
Yeah, I'm not making this up. That's what I saw.
First of all, a big shout out of thanks to Project Veritas. If you're not familiar with them, they have a website. You definitely should pay attention to them. They do great work, and all they do is they send, as you saw in that video, they send people undercover to watch what Democrats are doing, what liberals are doing, and they expose a lot of fraud. And they have had people, or gotten people, fired from their jobs when these videos have surfaced, when these videos had shown somebody acting improperly. That person has been fired. What else could an employer do when, or a government employer, any employer do when there is documentary evidence of workers misbehaving and politicians misbehaving? But I don't want to get off on that track right now. I simply want to urge everybody to look out for videos from Project Veritas or go to their website and see what is new. Now, what's especially egregious and what you just saw is that it's in the law that there has to be an observer for each person recounting ballots. There should be a Democrat and a Republican observing the recounts of every ballot, standing behind every counter to see the ballots, to verify. They have to verify that each ballot is valid, and if they can't agree, if there is any doubt, that ballot gets put aside to be examined more closely later and very likely discarded. That is also the law in other states, but as you saw in that video, that law is not always being followed. And where there is not a law like that, that should be the law. But the point is, how do you ensure that the process is honest and open and transparent? And it is actually very simple. Ready? Have or require each ballot to be initialed by each observer. Each ballot must have the initials. Each observer, the Democrat and the Republican, must physically initial each ballot. And I would even go a little farther. If there's a potential of messing up the ballot, I would provide in the ballot or on the ballot, when it is printed, special squares in which the observers can put their initials. Require each ballot to be initialed and discard any ballot that does not have the initials from both a Democratic and a Republican observer. And I would even go a step further and require each observer to sign, after the recount has been done, to sign a disclaimer under penalty of perjury that they did in fact observe every ballot, that they initialed every ballot, and that they were honest in what they did, in how they observed, and in what they initialed and what they did not initial, and therefore should have gone to the side or even been discarded. That is my suggestion. I think it's very simple. The only other suggestion, oh wait, before I forget, I also want to thank a bunch of people. I just discovered that I got some new subscribers. I didn't know that that had happened. I don't check it too often. I apparently don't get notified every time there's a new subscriber, which makes sense. If you have a lot of subscribers, you can't get a notification for each one. But I do want to thank everybody who has subscribed, and I want to ask everybody, or everybody who liked this video, if you did like this video, give me a thumbs up and share it with anybody you think would also like the video. Got any comments? You can put it in the comment section below the video. Questions, suggestions for future topics. You could subscribe, as apparently some people did. You could subscribe. I love getting subscribers. You could also visit my music channel. I put a link in the description there under the name Gene Allan. I put my original music there. You are welcome to come and watch and listen. And most of all, I just thank all of you for spending time with me. I really, really, really appreciate it. And finally, I hope you all come back again. I look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.